I'm pretty sure Israel used to.
Lord, for one day, give me the confidence of this white boy for one day. Like, how? How can you be so confident in your stupidity? It makes no sense. I don't even know where to begin. Let's start with the Nelk franchise, and then we'll go into the Jube as well. You should probably start with the Jube, honestly, if you want, unless you want to video game yourself until after the stream is over. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I want to talk about, but yeah, the Jube, for the record, JubeTube Jubilee hosted 20 fascists, like self-described, self-identified fascists. And did their surrounded sequence with like 20 fascists. Maybe a couple aren't like actual fascists, but I guess like at that point, if you are around those guys, you might as well also call yourself a fascist. There was like one confused DACA recipient in there, and then like one Iranian magician in there as well. One self-hating Iranian guy who said, you know, whites need their own ethno-state, and they don't think I'm human, but that's okay. They have a difference in opinion. Yeah, there was a Mexican DACA recipient who had an epiphany amidst the incredible, open, virile, repulsive white supremacist racism that I saw from any YouTube video. I mean, this shit made this kind of stuff makes like Xbox Live lobbies look tame, especially because this is like the boring kind of racism too. This is like, nah, you don't get it. I'm genuinely invested in this kind of type racism, if that makes sense. So, not great. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is not a great situation overall. Okay? Just not good. Not good at all. Very bad, as a matter of fact. The racism to Medhi continued on after the participants, who was literally a Nazi. Oh yeah, this guy. I didn't go up during the Jubilee debate because Hasan smelled like shit, he says. Except this is perhaps the biggest self-own of all time, especially considering that this mother literally traveled all the way to California to do a goddamn Jubilee stream surrounded by other Nazis, and he was too much of a pussy to go up on stage. And then he has to like do this kind of racist cope after the fact to be like, oh, you remember he's brown, he smelled bad. And he's got the Burger King like hat, t-shirt too. That shirt is the guy that said the N-word that wore the Burger King crown on the plane. How are you going to be the biggest loser? How are you going to be the biggest loser in this field of losers? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, one of the guys literally got fired. That's how big of a loser these guys were. One of them actually got fired, bro. Okay, fired from his job. This guy, Nazi influencer Pinesap, fired for being racist after viral Jubilee video, which I didn't even know he had a job. Okay, these guys are all at the loser convention, and this guy somehow was like an even bigger loser than the other ones. I don't even know how it was possible. But hey, guess what? There is obviously a lot of clout to be had for being an open, out and about fascist, white supremacist, racist piece of shit. Because guess what? Apparently, he has a fired for my political beliefs Give Send Go account, which is now at $30,000. He made 30 grand. America is in a deep, dark cesspit, dude. I don't know how to contend with this. I don't know how to deal with this. I'm telling you right now, we're in a scary place, bro. We are in a bad place. These motherfuckers will literally fundraise off of being racist. It is probably not a good thing, okay? It is probably not a good thing when people can just, you know, get fired from their job for being racist and then fundraise off that. Like, you're basically making money for being just openly racist. I don't know if that's like sustainable. Like, this is a country that went to the moon. What are we doing? Actually, I mean, we went to the moon, man. How is that possible? Like, the USSR was literally stealing our lunch money on the space race, and we just went to the moon. And look at us now. We were at the peak of innovation. Okay, this was the country that was the recipient of the brain drain. People from all around the world would come here for prosperity. And now all of that mental fortitude, all of that collective might goes to inventing new ways of, I guess, like inventing new ways of being racist and making money off of being a white supremacist. Like, this shit's sad, dude. How do you look at this goddamn country and think like, nah, things are good, actually. This is good. I don't understand. I do not understand. But hey, guess what, dude? We are finding new ways of being a piece of shit online, okay? So at least we have new technology. We are reaching new technological, innovative fields in terms of being an asshole online and then making money off of it. I saved the last part. The Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing. For today, I watched the first part yesterday. We're going to finish this quickly and we're going to move on.
Hey, how are
Sarah.
you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You too. So why do you say this is Donald Trump's plan? Why do you think that?
I mean, he says it's his plan. Have you seen his plan?
When
Have you
did
heard
he
his plan?
say it?
He said it standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu in January, February. He said it on Fox News in an interview on Fox. He said it on Air Force One when he was chatting to reporters.
Word for word, what's an example of what he said?
Word for word, he said, for example, we're going to clean out the Gaza Strip. He said they're going to leave. We're going to take control of it. He says, we'll own it. I would own it.
Rainey draws a lot. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Rainey draws a lot. Thank you for our 12 gifted subs, as a matter of fact. Your contributions and your support is what funds the Piker Broadcasting Service. The Piker Broadcasting Service is an ad-free experience. You will never see ads on here. It's socialism or barbarism. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you.
He says, I'm not sure under international law how he can own a foreign piece of land. And when he was asked on Fox News, the people, the Palestinians who are being forced to leave, would they be able to come back? He said, no, they wouldn't. That is the literal definition of ethnic cleansing, according to a UN definition of ethnic cleansing.
Why do you think that Trump is saying this? Do you think that he has some personal interest in cleansing Gaza, or do you think there might be some special interest group or perhaps religious or ethnic group that's, that maybe he received money from them and that's the whole reason why he wants to cleanse Gaza? Or why do you think that is?
I don't do Donald Trump's motivations. I really don't care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing.
Well, do
you agree with that?
I would actually, probably agree, but I'm just...
You agree that it's ethnic cleansing? You agree with doing ethnic cleansing?
No, I don't agree with it, but I agree that's probably his plan. But I'm trying to figure out, why do you think that is? Because...
Oh, yeah, I forgot. These guys are fash right. So a big chunk of them are going to be anti-Israel, but also in an anti-Semitic fashion. Because remember, they have no issues. They have no issues whatsoever with the ethnic cleansing of the entire migrant population here in the United States of America. So clearly, that's not something that they're against. It's always funny to me that Nazis sometimes come across as jealous of Israel, because Zionism is also a Nazi style ideology, is a fascist ideology. It always feels like they're just jealous that Israel gets to do it for Jews, or at least their claim is, right? But they don't get to do it for white people here in America. I mean, some of these neo-Nazis are honest about that, like Richard Spencer, who famously is pro-Israel and says, we just want to do Israel here in America.
Donald Trump's a white man. He identifies as Christian. I'm not sure if he really is. Well, what interest does he have in preserving a Jewish ethno-state? Why would he have that?
It's a good question. You'd have to ask Donald Trump that question. I've got multiple views. I'm sure you have many views. I'm not sure I like where you're going with your views, but I think Donald Trump is definitely someone who's got financial interests in ethnic cleansing. He's got political interests. He loves the evangelical voters he get. A lot of Christian evangelicals like to support Israel because they think Jesus will come back if all the Jews are gathered in one place with no Palestinians. I think he's going to make money, he thinks, from beachfront property with Jared Kushner. He said something similar in the past.
You think that's the real reason?
I think there's multiple reasons.
Thank you,
I think
SN
financial,
Palavan,
geopolitical,
for the 25
ideological,
gifted.
evangelical. I don't really care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is a war crime according to the Fourth Geneva Convention.
Yeah, I agree.
It's against international law under the Rome Statute. So we shouldn't be part of that. The United States should not be supporting Donald Trump's plan for ethnic cleansing.
I agree.
Good.
What do you think? What do you think should be done instead with the Israel-Gaza situation? I'm not sure what your stance is on this.
I would like to see a ceasefire in Gaza.
Two-state
I would like to
solution
see.
type
I don't
thing.
really get into debates about what solutions. I would like to see an end to the killing. I would like to see Gazans have freedom. I would like to see the Palestinians in Gaza somehow get their land back. 80% of Gaza right now is under Israeli military control or displacement. I would like to see freedom for the Palestinian people. I'm an American. To go back to the core of this show, I support American values. One person, one vote. Free speech.
It really is a religious and ethnic battle.
It is not a religious battle.
Well, yes.
No, it's not.
That is what it's obviously
it's
between
not.
Jews and Muslims
No,
both
it's
want
not.
control of the Holy Land.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What else? What other?
Actually, the founders of Israel were secular. They were not religious, actually. And I think some religious Jews, like Bezalel Smotrich, who's the Israeli government minister,
it doesn't really matter.
is a religious fanatic.
My point is,
the core of the conflict is over land. It's colonial. It's historic. It is not about religion.
Colonialism is for a reason.
The people who want to steal the land want everyone to believe it's religious.
My point is, why are we sitting here? Why are we sitting here? It's like a false dichotomy where we have to argue, like, do Jews get Israel? Do Muslims get Israel? Why are we?
I've never brought up anyone's religion.
How many of us?
I didn't bring up anyone's religion.
How many of us here are Christians?
I didn't bring up anyone's religion.
Trying to pick sides between Jews and Muslims taking over Israel. Like, don't you think that?
Hold on. First of all, I didn't bring up religion. Second of all, you know that a lot of Palestinians are Christian, right?
Some of them.
You're just reducing it to Muslim versus Jew.
Dude, this in and of itself is like also an insane thing that I hear more and more from the right is that, like, oh, by the definition of being Israel's enemy, Palestinians are just like automatically considered Muslim, because otherwise, if they were to, if the supposedly Christian dominionist right were to recognize the Christianity of the Palestinian population, then automatically they would have to like offer unconditional support. But once again, as you saw with that Catholic from yesterday when we were watching the same video, the one that looks like a Amish person, they will turn around and say like, oh, we actually love Catholicism. I'm a Catholic nationalist or whatever. But then he's like, but the Catholics that are coming from the southern border need to leave immediately, because there is the only through line that holds all of this ideology together is pure tribalism, pure racism. That's all it is. It's white supremacy. They're just trying to repackage it in a way that makes it, permissible to say, makes it less inappropriate. But that's it. It's just whiteness that's holding it together.
So it's majority Muslim, yeah. It's very.
But there are many prominent
I agree,
Palestinian
yeah, but there's not that many.
So it's not worth reducing everything to religion.
Well, it is the reason. Why do you think Iran is backing proxies that want to take over Gaza and back the terrorism in Gaza? It's obviously because they want to Muslim control of the land. You don't think that's why?
No, I don't think it's about religion. I've been following this conflict for decades. It's not about religion. People who say it's about religion, it's a distraction.
Well, it's a big part of it, I think.
No, it's not. You don't know anything. It's a big part of it, I think, is bullshit. No, of course religion is not a big part of it. It's just about land acquisition, man. The craziest part about it is that so many dumb people say this. Like, even people in this community have repeated this idiotic lie over and over and over again. You're just eating the propaganda.
A big part of it. It's been weaponized by bad faith actors, sure. But I don't think that's the core. The core is that one group of people are dominating another group of people.
What group of people is it? But what group of people is dominating another group of people?
One ethnic group is dominating another ethnic group.
What ethnic group?
Jewish people.
Yes, dominating.
Arabs.
Yes.
But I didn't say anything about Christian, Muslim, Jew in a religious sense. Okay, Jews defined as religion and ethnicity. You know that, right?
Well, why do you think that Muslims want control of the Holy Land?
You keep saying Muslims. I didn't bring up Muslims.
Well, they're Muslim states. Like, what do you think?
She does not understand that Judaism is an ethno-religious group, and that there are many different sects under Judaism, ethnic sects under Judaism, some of which were also created later on to make a distinction between Arab Jews and Arab Muslims and Arab Christians, as a matter of fact, because Judaism in and of itself is a religion, but Zionism is a fascist ideology that relies on Jewish supremacy, Jewish supremacist thought. That's like one of the easiest ways to understand this, by the way. It literally, in Israel, you literally have a ton of Arab Jews. But they're not considered Arab. They're considered Jews.
I think like Iran wants to do with
the Holy Land.
But it's a bit reductive to say religion has no part in here. No, religion is just a justification to garner support. Please, dude. Do you think the conquistadors colonized Latin America because of religious reasons? Do you think the people were actually engaging in like a religious conquest? Or do you think that the goal was land acquisition? Shut up. I said it wrong. I know. It's an extraction of natural resources. It's a land grab. It's to enslave the indigenous population. Religion is simply used as a righteous cause to galvanize the public and to massage the attitude towards just like constantly engaging in these sorts of barbaric affairs. It's stupid. Religion is simply used as a tool. The PFLP was found by George Habash, a Palestinian Christian. Even Hamas is more of a national liberation movement than whatever she considers to be an Islamist movement. She is a moron who thinks Arabs aren't capable of complex thought and just hate their colonizers because they're Jewish and not because they're colonizers. Exactly. Ironically enough, this opinion is exactly the same as Jake Tapper's, by the way. That's why I always say so much of the pro-Israel defense, because Israel is a right-wing enterprise. Israel is a reactionary enterprise. It's the maximalist reactionary position that you can arrive at, which is fascism, that the people that defend this reactionary fascist enterprise are unironically saying the exact same things that Nazis say, but they're saying it wokely. That's it. Jake Tapper and this lady have no difference in their opinion, in their approach to Israel. Jake Tapper simply thinks it's good and she thinks it's bad. That's it. That's the only difference. She thinks Jews bad, okay? Jews engaging in tricks and illicit affairs all the time by the very definition. Jake Tapper thinks Jews good across the board, which is an understandable position you can arrive at, but also simultaneously defend Israel as a Jewish enterprise. It's the dual loyalty trope, but playing itself out in a woke fashion.
But that's part of the conversation. What do you...
Does Zionism not perfectly fit the definition of palingenetic ultranationalism? Yes, of course. That's why I say it's fascist. Zionism fits the definition of palingenetic ultranationalism, which is like the what fascism is. Fascism is palingenetic ultranationalism, advocating for the rebirth of Judaism as a nationality, using the Holocaust as a moment of palingenesis, national rebirth. Yes, it does. The only difference here, however, is that in previous iterations of fascism, they did not have a real Holocaust-style event to point to. Okay? That's it. That's it. The only difference is that Israel, in an effort to create propaganda and a national mythos, can actually point to thousands of years of oppression, including the worst singular atrocity that they can point to for that befell the Jewish population, the Holocaust. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. And that's why it is so hard to decouple Israel from Judaism, and that is so hard to make an adequate argument here against Israel without people going, oh, are you being anti-Semitic, sweetie? Okay? That's it.
No, it's not. The conversation is Donald Trump is doing ethnic cleansing, and you agree with me. So I'm not sure why you're still here, to be honest.
It's part of the larger context of the
conversation. It's a weird debate when you actually agree with me.
What I was trying to say is we kind of have this false dichotomy here where we're trying to take the side of the Gazans, which mostly it's a Muslim majority, or the side of the Jews,
human beings who are suffering.
to try to decide who gets control over Israel.
I didn't say about control. I said don't ethnically cleanse.
America is a majority Christian country. Should we be...
Like here, someone said American fascism is using the Great Replacement as their justification. Again, that's not real. The Great Replacement is not real. Okay? Or the economic fallout of World War I, which was the national scar that Germany withstood, is not the same as the Holocaust. Okay, which is systematic ethnic cleansing, like a machine of ethnic cleansing of an entire population. That's the difference. That's why I'm saying that, like, the major difference between Zionism, its inception, and its endless justification is that there is an actual point of real barbaric cruelty that Zionists can always point to. In defense of Israel, you have to understand this, because this will help you better address those talking points.
Deciding Christians should have control of the
I agree.
Holy
Donald
Land.
Trump should not, nothing to do with religion. Donald Trump should not be deciding what happens to Gaza. That's my claim. If you agree with me, great, let's shake hands, give the seat to someone who disagrees with me. So are you saying,
do you think that America should just cut ties with Israel altogether?
What's your definition of cut ties?
Like stop funding them, stop being their military arm?
Yes, I'm on record saying that. Okay. That was an easier debate. Whoa. Welcome back, Richie. You really want to be here?
First of all, I really thought that obviously where we started, where it ended up, there's a lot of aggression. I can see in your eyes there's a level of exhaustion from being here. This is where my empathy comes in. Where it doesn't is, when you have a room full of people that do agree with you, we have this opportunity to come together. And you're kind of mocking people when they do. So you mocked Sarah a little bit when you guys clearly had a common interest and goal to reach. So I can tell you're agitated. I want to bring that all down. please.
I'm guessing you're not going to, but let's see.
No, I'm going to. I do want to point out some contradictions. First and foremost, I don't believe you're pro-American in the value system that you claim to uphold.
Dude, the point is Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing. Just stick to the prompt. Am I wrong to be concerned that we're on the same side as these freaks on the Israel issue? No, because they exhibit a lot of similarities to the pro-Israel side as well. Ironically enough, they are closer in ideology to Zionists than they are to anti-Zionists, okay? Many of these people, especially these guys, okay, they don't actually hate fascism. They love fascism. They openly say they're fascists. They're just jealous that Israel gets to do fascism with our dollars, okay? They're jealous that Israel gets to do fascism, and they think the advocacy groups for Israel here are not allowing them to do fascism. This is something that Visegrad directed at the head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, in their interview in a positive manner. He literally was like, well, you guys have, you guys have ethnic protection. You protect your own culture. You protect Jews. And we applaud you for doing that. But why do you here in the Western world attack whites for wanting to do the same? That's literally a question that was directed at Jonathan Greenblatt, which he had no real answer for. He was like, well, because those guys kind of hate Jews as well. These motherfuckers don't care about saving Palestinians. They do not care about freeing Palestinians. They simply hate Jews, and they're using the greatest off-ramp of all time to make Israel's crimes the crime of all Jews around the world. Okay? And the reality of the matter is Israel loves that. Israel allows it to happen. Israel is also literally saying, no. These things that we're doing, we are doing for all Jews. So in that way, they're no different. In that way, that's why I always say, like, this is no different than what Jake Tapper is saying. The only difference is Jake Tapper finds contextualization and justification for Israel's crimes. These guys do not. They're anti-Israel. But the underlying premises that they're operating off of are identical. Do you get it?
Especially with free speech, if you're not willing to debate people that don't share your values. That's very un-American.
Do you believe Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing?
I don't believe it's ethnic cleansing, because it's not his plan.
It is his plan. He said it's my plan.
No,
Benjamin Netanyahu called it his plan.
He is obeying someone else's plan.
Okay. Who is he obeying?
He is obeying Israel's plan.
Okay.
Yeah, this is cope, okay? This is pure Nazi cope. The idea that my big, beautiful, based, secret Jew hater Donald Trump is actually doing the bidding of the Jewish state because he's being blackmailed is just cope. These guys cannot comprehend that Donald Trump does not give a shit, just like they don't, about Palestinians or Arabs or Muslims or Christians or anybody that's being slaughtered in the hands of Israel, and that there must be some secret reason as to why he is defending Israel non-stop. That's it. It's because they do not want to acknowledge that Donald Trump loves what Israel is doing. Okay? And liberals also do this too. Liberals do the whole, like, Brandon actually is really forcing Brandon is actually really forcing Israel to stop, but Israel is just simply not budging. It's just the liberal version of that same cope. Both of these administrations actually like what Israel is doing. They do not hate what Israel is doing, because if they hated what Israel was doing, they would stop it.
For the Greater Israel Project, of which this is one of those things that we can agree on.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe they have something on all Americans.
But you think it's a bad thing what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
no,
That's right.
They have something on him. They have something on him. There's a crumb of truth hidden there as well, of course, which is that Mossad and the CIA have engaged in sexual blackmail. So that's a part of the reason why they can just, like, get away with saying shit like that. And it perfectly ties back to the Epstein stuff anyway. What's interesting about it, however, is that also means Donald Trump is a bad person. Okay? Like, this is the thing that I don't understand with, like, pro-Trump people who are like, well, I want him to release the Epstein files, but, like, he's being blackmailed, and that's why he can't release the Epstein files. It's like, okay, that means he's a pedophile. Like, you're saying you like this guy who is a pedophile, but he's your pedophile? Like, what does this mean? This is why what Alex Jones was saying in defense of Donald Trump made no sense.
I agree with you.
But see, I don't want to shut down
I'm
the
not mocking
conversation.
you, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, perfect. You know, but I want to take this opportunity because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again to say you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember what I said? The agitation from you is not going to be lower.
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
You tell an American citizen.
But okay, perfect.
Like this guy won't even talk about Israel. He's just like, yeah, we agree on Israel, but you're not an American. Okay, dude, shut up. It doesn't matter. He is sucks to suck. Okay.
Perfect. You just proved your own point.
Go on.
You just said that was a racist position.
Yes.
Now you're
I can't stand this motherfucker. He's like a crybaby, dude. Oh God, me. You have an accent.
Using conservative leverage.
I'm genocide.
Wish we could have got.
You just don't like the color of my skin.
We're having a different
All right,
conversation.
Also Canadian. That Canadian too. The blonde one was Canadian. The blonde lady was Canadian too.
We're having a different
Pause.
conversation.
All right, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Okay. I really wish we could have got.
I mean, you believe in white genocide, so it's very hard to.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Hello. So, I'll switch over to the Gaza thing in a second, but
Okay.
first off, I just wanted to touch on that. You said that you support free speech, of course, right? So, what I'm confused about is you've refused to debate people that I've disagreed with you because you.
Okay. He said the white race is being genocided. I don't. Why are these guys so? They just stay on the premise, man.
That's right. See, idea of one of
You don't debate people that disagree with you. Like he's literally sitting in front of 20 fascists. What are you talking about? He is clearly doing that.
kick out all the people.
Also, that's the one thing you can't say about Medhi Hasan is that he doesn't debate people who disagree with him. That's literally the thing he does the most. That is what he is known for.
It's the definition of ethnic cleansing.
So, isn't ethnic cleansing killing people? Because it seems like you're.
No, you can ethnic cleanse people without killing them. And by the way,
Wait, hold on.
debate,
Okay.
I'm sure as well. I'm going to
Yeah,
start debating.
so
them.
everybody here in this Jubilee-
everyone here has hygiene standards,
Yeah.
as do you. There are people you wouldn't debate, I'm sure as well.
Okay. So, can you please describe why you think Trump is supporting ethnic cleansing of Gaza just because he wants to take over the land there? How does that equate to killing them?
Not just take over the land, kick out all the people. That is the definition of ethnic cleansing.
So, isn't ethnic cleansing killing people? Because it seems like you're.
No, you can
referring
ethnic
to
cleanse
people.
people without killing them. And by the way, they have been killed. More than 50,000 people in Gaza have been killed by the Israelis, by people like Bezalel Smotrich, who said recently, the finance minister of Israel, we are going to Gaza to conquer, cleanse, and remain. We're going to annihilate the place. We're going to disassemble Gaza, he said. We're going to leave it behind as piles of rubble. That's the guy Trump's funding, supporting. That's the guy praising Trump. So yes, Trump and Smotrich are ethnically cleansing Gaza.
I cannot deny that thousands of people are dying in Gaza, but you need to realize, why are they dying? Is it possibly that they're attacking another country?
No,
just
the
because
people who are
Israel
dying, we're
is
not attacking another country.
Just because Israel is killing more Gazans than Gazans are killing Israel, it doesn't mean Gaza is righteous and Israel is evil.
I never
Now,
said anything about evil or righteous.
Israel
I said
might be-
ethnic cleansing. You said don't they have to be killed? I said they are being killed, and the criteria for what's happening to
Yes.
them. If Donald Trump says these people have to leave and never come back, is that not ethnic cleansing? What is your definition of ethnic cleansing?
I would think ethnic cleansing is when you're killing off a large part of an ethnic group.
That's genocide. You're confusing your
It's ethnic cleansing. I mean, Israel's doing a genocide for the record. It's not just doing ethnic cleansing.
terms. Ethnic cleansing is removing one ethnic group using a deliberate policy by violence or terror-inspiring
Yes.
means to remove another population, another ethnic group from a certain geographic area. That's the UN definition of ethnic cleansing. That is what he's doing. When he was asked Donald Trump, can they come back? He said, no, they cannot. That is ethnic. I've heard all these. We've
that
had
is
people talk
because-
about white genocide today.
Okay.
You guys are nationalists.
But that's-
How would you feel
You're talking
if somebody
75%
came,
of the
a
time.
president of France came and told you to leave your land and not come back? Would you not feel you'd been ethnically cleansed from your home?
From America?
Yeah.
Well, because my ancestors were settlers here, not immigrants. They actually built
Palestinians
something.
are not immigrants in Gaza. They are
Israel's built up the
indigenous
area.
people to the land.
Didn't Israel just give Gaza the land like a few decades ago?
No.
I'm pretty sure Israel used to.
Lord, for one day, give me the confidence of this pimple face white boy. For one day, the things that I would do. God damn, dude. These motherfuckers are just like, they're like, how? How can you be so confident in your stupidity? It makes no sense. You don't know anything. You just put on a suit and tie And you're like, nah, I'm about to cook, dude. Didn't Israel give Gazans the land?
Have that land.
I'm pretty sure you're
in
wrong.
the 1900s.
They
Yes,
withdrew
they did.
from 2005 from the land, but controlled
Yeah,
the
and then
air.
gave it to them in 2005.
No, they don't give it to them. They control the air,
give them-
the sea space, the borders, the population registry. They controlled what went in and out. It was a prison, an open-air prison. That's not giving
But
them
don't they have
freedom.
a border with Egypt and then the Mediterranean
Yes,
Sea?
and the
So how's that
Israelis
a
and
prison?
Egyptians work together because Donald Trump and Joe Biden
the
and
Egyptians
Barack
that are
Obama.
Muslim?
Yes, they're funded by the United States. Did you know that Muslim countries do bad things too?
No, I know that they do bad things.
Okay,
I'm
then,
not-
so we're in agreement.
All right,
Yes.
pause. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I wonder why Egypt is the second largest recipient of military aid and aid across the board after Israel. Much to consider here. Being propped up as a puppet state, specifically so that they can ensure that the Suez Canal is protected on both ends and that the Palestinians never have any opportunity to escape. Oh my God, Magic Man is back. Let's see.
Oh, wow. Great.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
See you again, Mehdi. All right, so I agree that Trump wants to do a cleansing, but not an ethnic one, because that area requires a lot of cleansing. Because when you have a population that was taught from early childhood age to hate Jews, Christians,
Hell yeah. That's my goat, dude. He's doing magic. A lot of y'all don't see magic, okay? I do.
and pagans, you need some serious re-education.
Number one, that's not true. And number two, that's not what he's proposing.
Well, I mean, most Palestinians, by a polling number, do support Hamas.
They support resisting Israel.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's true. What are you going to say about that? Yeah. Damn, Mehdi. Okay, Mehdi, cook.
because, you know, what did they do in the first place that they're in this, what you call open-air prison?
Great question. What did they do to deserve being occupied?
Well, here's the thing, because the Islamic Republic in Iran is using them as a tool.
What has
as
Iran
a
got
tool,
to do with this?
As a tool for their Islamic expansion.
When did the Islamic...
Because that,
First of all, they're Sunni. Like, what do you mean? They're Sunni. Yeah. The Islamic Republic of Iran actually did hypnotize. They did mind control, Mehdi. Mind control of the Palestinian. That is how they learn to hate Israel's bombing campaigns. And President Trump is going to save them. Yeah, this is why the Shah lovers are saying the Ayatollah sent him, because he's too insane. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, that's fucking spectacular. Oh, that's fantastic.
hold
Hold on. When did the Islamic Republic of Iran... You're Iranian American,
yes,
I believe.
Yes, I am.
When was the Islamic Republic of Iran founded?
1979.
When was Gaza occupied by Israel?
19... Well, the very first
67.
time. 67, yes.
So, can we do the maths together? 12 years before the Islamic Republic of Iran existed,
Yep.
Israel was oppressing, occupying, dispossessing the people of Gaza. So your argument makes no sense.
Were there any terrorist organizations at the time?
The PLO was considered a terrorist organization by the entire Western world.
All right, so was Hamas there?
Hamas did not exist till 1980.
Was Hamas there? No, Hamas wasn't there. Hamas did not exist. Were they eating Kubi Day? This guy's awesome.
Exactly. My point is, after the Islamic Republic came, it became chaotic because the Islamic Republic started to use...
Wait, this guy's like, I don't get it. He thinks that like the PLO was treated differently than Hamas. Is that what he thinks? Because they were treated exactly the same as Hamas.
what's the so-called innocent Palestinians for their own
So-called
ends.
innocent Palestinians. You don't think Palestinians are innocent?
Not all of them.
But
Because
what about the 17,000 children who were killed?
They're doing the
17,000 children were killed. Were they not innocent?
same...
Were they not innocent?
Who's responsible for that?
Israel, who dropped the bombs on
Hamas
them.
is responsible. Hamas is responsible for hiding in hospitals and making tunnels underneath
So
those
when
hospitals.
children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers not responsible for that.
Look,
It's a simple question.
Here's the problem.
When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in Gaza in the head, as eyewitness testimony and doctors' testimony proves, that's not the fault of the Israeli snipers.
This is the problem, because when you have a
The problem is you won't answer the question. I'll ask you a third time. When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
Well, you gotta let me finish.
No, you got to answer the question. Fourth time.
Well,
when Israeli
I will
snipers
get to
shoot
your answer.
Palestinian children in the
I
head.
will get to your
We're running
answer.
out of time. I need to know what you think about innocent children.
because I will
what
get
you
to-
said was pretty outrageous. You said
I will
so-called
get to your answer.
innocent Palestinians. For the fifth time, when Palestinian children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers,
What
is that
did-
not the fault
what-
of Israeli
What did those
snipers?
children do?
What did
they
you
do?
tell me? Did the children deserve to be shot in the head?
Because the problem is,
you know,
over there,
millions of people are watching you say
they
to
start
justifying the
brainwashing.
Yeah, this is so bad. Here is Al-Reza Talakubnejad. I do think that we're moving in a direction where in a few years, basically zero natural-born Americans will buy the standard boomer AIPAC talking points. They hate us more than they love their children. Israel-only democracy. Arab countries are all savage, etc. And it will literally just become some right-wing Iranians and other third-world immigrant groups. Most American Jews I know are liberal and souring on all this quite fast. Evangelicals aren't as powerful as they were 30 years ago either. You're about to see the most diverse group of Israel defenders. Also, this guy said third world immigrant groups is hilarious. This is a crazy disguise that loser box put together for this. Yeah. A little optimistic to think that America will exist in a few years. I mean, if it does, and I think it probably still will in some way, shape, or form, it's going to, the Israel Defense Brigade is going to be an eclectic group of some of the biggest white supremacist evangelical Zionists you've ever seen. And also like the Shah dick riders, the Iranian monarchists, I am Persian style monarchists, and like maybe some other like sometimes Israel will do this thing where they'll find like one Native American group that they'll pay a ton of money to come out and be like, yeah, Israel is the Jews' indigenous population. Israel is the Jewish National Project. You know what I mean? Like they'll have like random groups like that. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. That's a real thing. They do this with like some reactionary, some of the more reactionary elements within like New Zealand as well, where they'll go and like find a group of Maori people, and there'll be like weirdly super pro-Israel and super Islamophobic. They'll also do this with like Native American groups as well.
Children, they start brainwashing children at a very young age.
So you support sniping children in Gaza?
Look,
do other people here support sniping children in Gaza? Is that a conservative position now?
What if they're wearing a suicide vest?
They weren't.
But what if they are?
They're not though.
What if the babies are wearing suicide vests? Okay, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, what if the baby had a button in his hand and then the button was actually nukes directed at Tel Aviv? What then, huh? What now, liberal? What if it's a baby of terror? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What is this is not how you argue, okay? Why is it that whenever these guys even try to entertain a conversation, they literally just go for the most childlike way of debating, which is, what if this impossible thing was actually the case instead of the reality that you are suggesting? I'm not Mr. Don't use hypotheticals or analogies, okay? But if you're going to use an analogy, you have to make sure that it has some basis in reality, and it has to be comparable, okay? Like a comparison between Adolf Hitler and Benjamin Netanyahu is perfectly apt because of the underlying fascist ideology that motivates both of these parties and because of their actions, okay? Adolf Hitler doing the Holocaust, Benjamin Netanyahu doing the modern iteration of the Holocaust to the Palestinian population. Okay, these are comparable instances, which is why it's a perfectly apt analogy. And if you have a disagreement on that, you can actually try to tackle the underlying comparison that I'm making. Right? You could say, I don't appreciate this analogy. Here is why. Okay, that's how you're supposed to debate. You're supposed to say, I don't appreciate this analogy because, here's a stupid argument you could present. You could say, well, Adolf Hitler killed 6 million Jews, whereas Benjamin Netanyahu has only killed, 100,000 Palestinians, right? Like, oh, the numbers are not comparable or something. That's a bad argument to make. And there's plenty of counters that you can present against that as well. But that's how you're supposed to do back and forth communication. That's how you're supposed to debate. Okay? These guys don't do that, where they go, oh, you asked me a question about Israel sniping a child in the head. What if that child had an RPG directed at the Israeli sniper rifle? And what if that child also simultaneously had a nuclear bomb strapped to its chest and was entering the Gaza envelope to detonate itself right in the middle of Tel Aviv? What if then? What now? That is a insane argument to make because it has no basis in reality. Like, that's not, like, you can't have a conversation like that. Because the alternative is like, what if the child didn't have the nukes?
What if children? I have friends who went there. Doctors went to Gaza. American doctors. They came back and said we have multiple children.
What if
with
they're
gunshot
hell-bent?
shots.
What if they're hell
What if
bent
they're
on
not?
killing you and your family?
A 10-year-old child, an 8-year-old child, a 6-year-old child.
Because
This is
like
bad
you said,
for you.
like you
You're
said,
sitting on
they're
live
brainwashing
television
them.
where millions of people are going to see your neighbors, your friends.
Millions
you support
of people,
the killing of
millions
children.
of people don't know what's going on.
Even your fellow right-wingers are saying, don't go this far. White genocide, sure, but don't advocate
millions of
killing
people
kids.
don't understand the brainwashing that is going on in Islamic Republic and in Palestine to create
You're
this
obsessed
hatred.
with Iran so much that you're supporting the killing of Palestinian children who never harmed you or any other Israeli. That's insane.
Look.
And the fact that you support Trump's ethnic cleansing now doesn't surprise me.
I didn't say ethnic cleansing. I said cleansing of the land.
All right, pause.
Because you need to cleanse
I'm
the land
sure,
from all
I'm
the
sure
tunnels.
Slobodan Milosevic
Pause.
said similar stuff.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
How you doing? Good to see you again.
I'm good seeing you too, man. First thing I'm gonna say is I'm not down for Israel. Okay, that's the first thing I'm gonna say. And I don't like when you come up here and you use the type of rhetoric that you do. You talk like all of these like left-wing positions, and then you go to the last part, which is I don't support ethnic cleansing in Palestine. I think you're doing a huge disservice to pro-Palestinians when you start allying yourself with all these progressives. I don't think it looks good because you have all these conservatives in here who oppose war. They oppose.
Let me tell you, a Muslim man who has spent his entire career in broadcasting, defending Palestinians, how you're supposed to defend Palestinians appropriately. Okay? You're doing a disservice, sir. Does he think fascists have an exclusive claim to anti-war sentiment? I think so. I think he's going to tell Medhi Hasan that he needs to be anti-Semitic to successfully argue against Israel.
Intervention in the same tradition of Pat Buchanan and all the greats that came before
Not Donald Trump, though, sadly.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. I do agree. I mean, he ran on an anti-war ticket. He said he was going to. I didn't.
Because he lies, right?
You're going to let me talk, or you just want to? Yeah, true. So, I mean, yeah, you keep going back to Trump. I don't think this is part of his plan. I think this is a plan of lobbyists. And this is not just unique to Trump. It's been a thing since the Democrats. It's been a thing since the Republicans before him. It's been like this since Truman. I don't know if you read like John Mearsheimer's The Israel Lobby or anything like that. Would you agree or disagree with anything like that?
Oh, I agree with Stephen Watt and John Mearsheimer, yeah, for
okay,
sure.
great. So I'm just warning when you ally yourself with...
How do these guys hate Jews, but then they're like, but John Mearsheimer is one of the good ones? Is that what it is? Like, how does that work for these guys? They're doing Jewish tricks, except for John Mearsheimer, who also is Jewish. It's like David Duke voting for Jill Stein. Oh, it's awesome. None of it makes sense. Okay, let's continue.
All these leftists, and you come up here and you argue for immigration. You argue up here that, Trump's this bad criminal and this and that, and then you
think Trump's bad too?
I think he's good on some questions and bad on other things, but let me get to the point here, is you ally yourselves with guys like, Jewish Voices for Peace and all those guys.
Great people.
Yeah, not really though.
Why?
Because they're self-interested in it.
They're not. By definition, they're not.
It says it on their homepage.
By definition, they're not self-interested, right? They're going against their own
Are you
community.
going to let me talk? On their homepage, it literally says that we are here to segregate Judaism from Zionism. It's very clear they're doing this in their own interest. That's why it literally says Jewish Voices for Peace. They're going to be the good Jews who say that we don't support Palestine. And then what happens is you take all these progressives, you go out there and LARP in the street, and then everyone here who's conservative, they're going to vote for the pro-war candidate because they don't want to be associated with all the liberals.
So you're forced to vote for pro-war people. Poor
It's either that or get replaced in my country. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you and your replacement bullshit.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Oh,
I just found out that John Mearsheimer is not Jewish. I thought he was. My mistake. Maybe that's why he brought him up. Run that one back, bro. You missed it. He threatened Mehdi. I mean,
There are good Jews who say that we don't support Palestine. And then what happens is you take all these progressives, you go out there and LARP in the street, and then everyone here who's conservative, they're going to vote for the pro-war candidate because they don't want to be associated with all the liberals.
You're forced to vote for pro-war people. Poor
It's either that or get
conservatives.
replaced in my country. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you and your replacement bullshit.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
you're going to be the first one that goes to the promised land? Does watching this serve any purpose? Like, these are the most hateful and dumbest racist ever, and listening to this debate is reactionary. As I said yesterday, and since then, in the last 2 days, this has accrued 4.6 million views. At this point, cat's out of the bag, okay? It deserves to be addressed for the purpose of like mass use.
Oh, wow. There's 3 people so far. Let's keep counting. We should be nicer to you, otherwise you'll deport us. What a great argument. This is the free speech debate camp. It's not your country, my friend. It's our country, whether you like it or not.
Why does Medhi Hasan put himself through this? He's constantly getting hate crimed and getting called slurs. Will you ever debate actual neo-Nazis like this? No, because this is an utterly unproductive conversation. And I'm pretty certain that Medhi Hasan, if he knew that he was going to be talking to like people who are openly neo-Nazis and like openly fascists, he probably would have said no to this. Like, you got to understand something. I know that he was blindsided. I already talked to him about this. He thought, I'm pretty sure he talked to Sam Cedar ahead of time, and Sam was like, well, there was like some positive aspects of going on Jubilee, you know, you get your name out there, stuff like that. But Jubilee has farmed the depths of the Nazi well so hard at this point that these are people who are just like openly being like, I'm a fucking neo-Nazi. Like, that's crazy. It's a crazy person. It is about as productive as like talking to, people hallucinating, like a bunch of people who are unfortunately going through like a schizophrenic attack, exhibiting delusions and paranoia.
I thought Kai was, he smiled, he laughed, he did it. We disagreed. He did it I felt like it was good faith. Let's see.
I appreciate it, Medhi.
He seemed to be in good faith. He seems kind of smart. And, he's one of the few people who doesn't want to deport me. Or maybe not. We're going to find out.
My claim is we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
Why do you want to get rid of birthright citizenship, and how, by the way? Because you know it's in the Constitution. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yes.
Because it was one of my...
The 14th.
14th. I mentioned it to a bunch of your friends, and nobody wanted to engage in the 14th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 14th Amendment,
Exactly.
the Citizenship Clause, which says that if you're born here, you're a citizen of the United States.
Yes. I chose this because it's an extension of the original debate and the immigration debate.
Okay.
I think birthright citizenship, first of all, when it was originally argued, among the people who were actually voting on the clause, right? It was argued that the birthright citizenship was not automatically extended to everybody who was just born here. And we have a long history of that as well, for example, with the Native Americans, who had particular laws that applied solely to them.
Yep.
What I think we're seeing in this country is not everybody is so similarly under the jurisdiction thereof of the United States, right? And by allowing for birthright citizenship and not interpreting the Constitution as we're legally allowed to and restrict, the automatic citizenship of anybody who's born here, we actually remove the issue, for example, of family separation, because there is no incentive of a family to come over to this country illegally and then have a child, which is contributing to the awful situation we have in America of breaking up families. This is not something that I imagine you or I agree with.
No.
The issue is birthright citizenship has incentivized that.
So even if I were to concede that in some cases birthright citizenship has incentivized that, that, I don't like the phrase anchor babies, but I'm not naive enough to pretend that there are not immigrants who come here and time the pregnancy in order to get. Of course, you and I can agree on that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you then rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries, goes back before the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment came about, I think, in 1868, if memory serves me correctly. But the principle underlying it is actually from my other country, the UK, ancient English common law, right?
Now, the reason why you don't, I don't even think that there needs to be any sort of defense of this on constitutional grounds or common law or anything like that. It's super simple. Does this harm America in any way, shape, or form? If the answer is no, then why would you change it? As a matter of fact, it not only doesn't harm the United States of America, it actually helps the United States of America keep a younger population. It's not about the Constitution. I don't care about the Constitution. Disagree. Constitutional argument is very crucial. I care about it only as far as it's a appropriate line of defense among constitutional scholars so that the Supreme Court doesn't the bag up. But ultimately, the reasons why I think birthright citizenship is good is because it is good. It's because it actually keeps the American population youthful. It's the way that it will change or stay. No, I understand that. That's why I'm saying the constitutional argument is only as good as it is useful. But the real reason why is because the real reason why I don't care about it is because who gives a f*** the Constitution? What you're supposed to do is what's best for America. What you're supposed to do is what's best for everyone involved. It's a useful tool. It should be just a means to an end and not the end in and of itself. Because there are, I mean, the Second Amendment in its modern interpretation has been incredibly dangerous for American welfare, for American safety. It should be reinterpreted. It should be readjusted or outright thrown out because I care about public welfare than I do about holding on to whatever kind of interpretation we've decided now is the appropriate way to interpret the Second Amendment.
So this was always the case. The 14th Amendment, as you know, because you seem well read, came along and codified what was already a principle in American and English law, that if you're born in the country, you are a citizen. Now, you mentioned the point about jurisdiction. There is that little bit in there where it says subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That in the debate, if you go back and read the debate that the senators had at the time, they were very explicit that that was to do with foreign ministers and foreign ambassadors, diplomats living in embassies. Their kids shouldn't be citizens. Obviously, they're here on their own. You know, the Argentine embassy in DC is Argentine soil. So we accept all that.
Absolutamente, amigo.
But when they were asked about Chinese immigrants, Senator Trumbull, who was
oh my God, is it Argentinian? Oh my God. Yo, they are not beating the allegations, bro. It's not enough. It's not enough that Milei has like destroyed the country. These motherfuckers also turn around. Holy moly. People are saying grandfather was a literal Nazi. No, blonde people from Argentina are not always actually direct descendants of Nazis that fucking escaped Nazi Germany after World War II. Argentina has more Italians than they do like what you would consider the native population. It has always been this way. There's a reason why the Nazis chose Argentina to escape to. One must question why. He could also be a Mormon that did a mission, to be fair. This guy tried to lead the Groypers of Salt Lake City. He's a Mormon. Oh, God. There you go. Mormon mission.
I think the chair of the Judiciary Committee back in the 1860s during this debate, he said at the time, Chinese immigrants' children, they're citizens. In fact, 1898, as you well know, we get Wong Kim Ark, Supreme Court case, Wong Kim Ark versus the United States. And the Supreme Court says, yes, even the child of undocumented Chinese immigrants is an American citizen. So this is a principle going back centuries. So while I can agree with you that there are cases that abuse the 14th Amendment, that there are issues of family separation, I'm not going to rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries and is backed by a 27-year-old Supreme Court precedent because Donald Trump is looking for ways to cut the number of brown and black people in the United States.
If you don't mind me interrupting,
Please.
this is where I think it's important as well to go back to what we talked about with the Constitution. When we're analyzing, and admittedly, I'm not as interested in the legal argument. There's obviously many ways to interpret the Constitution. But I don't think, especially among conservatives, that it is positive to use the Constitution to dismantle it. When we analyze the original context, like you were saying, in the late 19th century, our immigration law was absolutely different, including, in respect with the Irish and Chinese immigrants that were coming over. It was absolutely...
Again, why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Are immigrants constituting a threat to American safety, American security? Are they a burden on the American economy? The answer to these questions they range from no to of course not. Okay? So what is the reason why you want to purge? What is the reason why you want to purge the ranks of people that you consider to be immigrants that are less worthy of being here? That's it. He says yes, but it's not correct. There is guys, if you say yes to those, you have to answer why you think that is the case, which is ultimately arriving at the point that I was making. It's some other secretive reason as to why immigrants are constituting a threat to American safety. Because if they were to say immigrants are more likely to do crimes, that's wrong. There's information on this. It is the exact opposite. Okay? Undocumented non-citizens and documented non-citizens alike. If you add all immigrants into the pile, the numbers don't even compare to the natural-born U.S. citizen crime rates. Okay? The underlying reason as to why so many of these people have enmity towards migrants is just racism. That's it. They're just scared. They've been told that these guys are bad and wrong. Some people legitimately believe that. Some people know better and still make this argument because they just want to purge the ranks and basically make the gene pool clean and pure.
Different.
We had open borders, my friend. Some people in this room would hate it. We had open borders for half of American history.
Well, that I don't think that's very true.
It's 100% true.
Well, hold on. If you're comparing the open borders, which I don't concede to, but if you're comparing the open borders prior to like 1910 and prior to the Hart-Celler Act, and you look at the amount of immigration and who was coming over.
Nice deflection. Amount is irrelevant. We did have an open border.
It is absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because the Constitution, like the founding fathers.
Hold on. Your argument is we had open borders, but there were fewer immigrants.
I was about to answer.
Okay.
It's important to analyze the context wherein these laws and parts of the Constitution arise. The original founding fathers said the Constitution was made only for immoral and religious people and is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, which means the people that wrote this document understood that it would not be able to properly...
Super secular people, but let's just be clear on that.
Oh, no, that's not true. They were deists.
A lot of them were super secular.
No, the majority were deists.
But they were secular. Secular doesn't mean atheist. You know what that means.
I understand that, but deist doesn't mean secular or atheist. It means they believe in a God, but not a God that's particularly present.
I didn't say anything about whether they're deist or theist. I said they're secular.
Okay, but secular
means you separate church and state.
Okay, well, let's talk. We could even talk about that. That's a perfect example.
You're going to run out of your own time making your argument, which you haven't made so far.
I understand, but the separation of church and state is now completely differently understood than originally proposed. Thomas Jefferson, who talks about the wall of separation, which doesn't even exist in the Constitution, understood it in a different way.
Supreme Court precedent, as you well know.
Yeah, sure, but the precedent of the last 100 years, wherein the country has been completely different from its founding, should not overrule the original intent of the people who wrote the document that you and I are both citing. Okay. Which means,
but I'm not locked into what the people who wrote that. We've had amendments to the Constitution. You know that, right?
I understand that.
Okay.
And this is our fundamental disagreement: is that I don't believe.
You think you can read the minds of people in the 1770s?
That's not true.
And I'm stuck.
I just believe this country ought to be more like the country we originally had, and I don't think
that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
I understand that,
but there's a factual basis to it.
Well, let me try to see what you believe.
Okay.
If we are voting on these constitutional amendments, if we are interpreting them, and our interpretation becomes absolutely, let's say, a 180 from what the original intent of the authors of that document is, are you in favor of that?
I guess it depends on the issue.
Okay, I would say no matter what.
So, for example, take the Second Amendment, which we kind of danced around. It's not been come up here and there.
Yeah.
You know the debate about the Second Amendment is the fundamental debate is one side says it's unlimited, and the other side says no. What they meant was the malicious.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they had muskets. They didn't mean AR-15s, right? So we can have that endless debate, which I really don't care for about that. But to come back to your point about the constitutional principles, the 14th Amendment comes along in the 1860s, so it's pretty old. It's not as old as America, but it comes along, and it's been around for 150 years. So if you want to get away with it,
but it was around. It was around before 150 million Americans.
And I'm saying it was around before the United States was even created. It's part of ancient English common law. If you're born in a place, you're a citizen of that place, unless you're the child of a foreign diplomat or on a Native American reservation.
English common law did not exist simultaneously as millions of people coming across the border in a year.
Just to get to principles, your argument is numbers change everything.
Wait, it doesn't matter. The entire point of that was to literally, the entire point of that is the recognition that migration is not a problem. It adjusts to the population size. If you have 10 people and 5 people show up, that's a big population. If you have 100 million people and 100 million people show up, that adjusts to the same rate. Or you have 100 million people and 50 million people show up, that adjusts to the same rate. It doesn't matter. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, there were less people back then, but the immigration patterns adjusted to the lower population. That's also not true between 1890 and like 1910. We brought in nearly 30% of our entire population worth of immigrants. Our population was 60 million and 20 million people came. Yeah, it's even larger than it is now as well.
Everything because we've got so many more people.
Not solely.
The real problem here is that he is upset about who's coming in. That's it. That's it. And they can't say it openly. Well, some of them do. They can't just like, some of them are too shy about revealing their actual position, which is that ultimately they think like people from certain countries are inferior and they're brown. And that is a position of inferiority, and that white people are superior and they're being replaced.
Not solely, but absolutely.
Okay.
The demographics of your immigration absolutely change it. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? If you got rid of the 14th Amendment, what would be in its place?
I think a citizenship test would be fantastic.
What age?
I wish.
What age?
I think we could administer it in high school.
To everyone?
Sure.
Or just the immigrants?
No, everybody.
And then if you fail it, you denaturalize white American native born?
Maybe you can't get a government job.
Denaturalize that dude?
I think there's plenty of benefits that the government offers people that you should not be able to receive.
I'll tell you this, right?
Wow, this solution is stupid. Wow, all of a sudden, you ask, how would you go about this? And everything falls apart. So what do you do up until the point of going to high school? You just are stateless? Like, what are we talking about? You're just stateless. There's nothing you can do. No amenities. How do you go to public school? How do you even go to high school? You're stateless. Yeah, and Mehdi is right. It would unironically be a real replacement of all the whites and American soil.
This might sound bad.
And I think
people care for me anyway, so let me say something you might not like.
Nobody would pass it.
If you have a high school immigration citizenship test for everyone,
I think people will take citizenship more seriously.
I'm guessing the immigrant kids are going to outperform the white kids, and you might actually end up denaturalizing some of the white kids, and then people here will be really upset.
And well, hold on. And I like to be consistent about this. That's possible. But what I think it would do is it would give everybody a larger sense of the importance of citizenship.
So you would say no one born in this country is a citizen? No one?
Automatically no. Automatically no.
Wow.
I think we could.
This is so stupid. Oh my God. It's so dumb. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting from this guy, but holy shit, I didn't think it would be that dumb.
Could extend that, people who have a heritage in the country.
What are they until they pass the test? Undocumented?
I suppose, yeah. They are not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to apply for these jobs.
But their parents are citizens.
Okay, well, hold on. We're talking here about the way that we would implement it.
Yeah, it's pretty important. If you're trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment, I'm going to ask about the practicalities of it.
And we're not
Trump's doing it right now.
Hold on. And I'm not going to be able to explain it to you in 10 minutes. But what I can explain to you is that right now in this country, we have a crisis of people not
accept that.
Hold on. We're not understanding what citizenship is.
Dude, every person on U.S. soil is stateless until they reach high school and they take a citizenship test is so stupid because they literally can't take advantage of any of the amenities. Like, they can't go to school. They can't travel. And also on top of that, that unironically would open up the floodgates of migration, okay? That literally would be the great replacement. You would only have, America would overnight turn into an Asian country. And it should. Take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Every white person would fail the citizenship test, and dudes from Uttar Pradesh would be flying in here to just ace that test so goddamn hard for upward social mobility that it would make people's brains explode. Okay? Finally, America would be a Chinese Indian state. Okay? A collaborative, half Chinese, half Indian nation state. Yeah, I support this guy's idea. People should fight really hard for it. It's ironic because it literally, yeah, and then it would be a quarter Nigerian. And then I don't know what happens to the white Americans who failed the citizenship test. I don't know what we do with them.
The way that you've referred to citizenship makes everybody who hasn't come to the United States an undocumented American citizen until the time they come over here.
That's how a lot of countries are, right? You know that birthright citizenship is operated by multiple democracies around the world. I know Trump lies and says, we're the only country that does it. He lies. That's not true. Multiple countries have birthright citizenship.
Do you think it ought to be that way? Do you think everybody in the world is an undocumented American?
So, hold on. Well, or undocumented Canadian or undocumented Brit, right? Or undocumented.
Sure. Well, I'm an American, so I say America. But yeah.
But I'm saying, right, the principle is you immigrate. We have free movement of people around. I support free movement of people around the world.
But do you believe they're all
undocumented? Are you Kim Jong-un? You think people should only stay in one country and never leave and be blocked from leaving their country?
I think
that's a very illiberal and conservative position.
I think there's a big big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that.
Not really. Hold on. In practical terms, if you accept,
I gave one side. I want to give the other. There's a big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that everybody in the world is an American, they're just not on our soil yet. I think being an American
that's a ridiculous
citizen,
statement, right? Because everyone in the world is not heading for the United States of
yes,
America.
yeah, but
in fact, right now, numbers of people coming in is dropping a lot.
But the idea that you are supporting is that the moment you come to this soil and that you're born here, you become an American. And
so
I think,
I'm not saying at the moment you come to the soil, you become an American. I didn't. I had to do the test. Right?
Okay.
I had to do the naturalization process, which is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
But
the 14th Amendment also says if you're born here, then you automatically get it. And I'm not saying,
I think the problem we have,
it's a hill I'm going to die on.
The problem we have
All
is
I'm saying to you guys, what do you do instead?
we don't appreciate citizenship. The problem is that when you talk about immigration like we did
could
before,
agree on that.
when we talked about everything before, what were we talking about? We were talking about products. We weren't talking about practices or perceptions, which is really what immigration is about.
Can I agree with you? We don't in this country value citizenship enough.
I agree.
I think we should encourage people to have more civics lessons in schools, understand American history and Constitution much more. Here's what's the irony.
Okay, this debate is stupid. The rest of this is just dumb. This guy's playing 5D chess and needs a job, lol. Too much free time. Nah. It's just like, this is done. It's cooked. We saw the Israel stuff.